Good morning, everybody. Thanks for welcoming me to this event today. Just before I get into the presentation, just a little bit of background about me. So I had actually 27 years in the public sector working for Transport for West Midlands. So those of you that are still in the local authorities, I feel your pain. I know what it's like to work in that sector. But hopefully I left there in April of last year, done a little bit of work at Transport for Greater Manchester, and been working with Mars Global on a full-time basis since around November of last year. So hopefully I've got the perspective of the local authority, but also of the innovator in this space too. So I know I've only got 15 minutes, so I will try and reasonably rapidly run through this. An introduction to mobility as a service. I think we know what it's all about, but I'll just go through a couple of slides to make sure we're all at the same place. Talk about introducing Whim, Mars Global's app, into Helsinki. What we learnt, introducing that into Birmingham, into the West Midlands, and what we want to do next. So we've heard it from a couple of speakers before. It's about bringing everything together, actually. From car ownership to the freedom of mobility. And perhaps one of the key things around Mars Global is that we understand that we've got to be able to offer access to cars as part of our service offer. For many journeys that many of us undertake, many of us are going to need a car to make that journey. It's probably not every journey, and the challenge with owning your own car, or at least leasing your own car, is that you cost every single journey at marginal cost. You've already got that sunk cost of the vehicle, so every journey is at marginal cost. If we can move away from costing each journey at marginal cost, but at true cost, we think that we can help people make more sensible choices for more of their journeys. And the challenge with owning your own car is that you've got that car that you have to use for every journey. I've got a nice big car because I go to the tip twice a year. Crazy, isn't it? Most of the time I could probably do with a small city car when I need to have a car to access the city because I don't need to drive what I have got. But we do need to be able to offer a car to give you the freedom, the ultimate freedom that you need, that we've promised you from car ownership. The Netflix of transportation, the Spotify of transportation, using that digital disruption that's possible now through mass ownership of smartphones and digital data to provide customers with a service. So not a product, a bus pass, a car, but a service that will allow you to get from A to B for all of your journeys. I think Ben mentioned this earlier, that we will get you there guarantee, that no matter where you need to get to, Whim Mobility as a Service products will get you there and crucially back again. So let's talk a little bit about a case study. Whim, the transport. If you've not downloaded it yet, please do. You'll be able to buy on a pay-as-you-go basis a taxi here in London. If you want to hire an enterprise or a sixth vehicle, you can anywhere in the country. In fact, actually, you can get anywhere that it is live. Currently, you can only buy a public transport journey in Helsinki, in Birmingham, and from next week in Antwerp. So if you're on holidays in Helsinki or Antwerp or want to come to Birmingham, please buy public transport tickets. So Whim in Helsinki. So the company itself, Mars Global, was formally established in 2015. We launched a beta application in October of 2016 to get some data from around 100 customers. We did an initial commercial launch last June to get a little bit more data, and then a full commercial launch in December 2017. So we've actually launched the thing 3 times, and that's important because we've been learning in an agile way from customers what actually works, what is it that customers want, what is it that they might want to purchase in Helsinki. This slide hasn't come out properly. My apologies, I'm hopeless with technology, which is a bit ironic, someone working for a tech company, but there it is. What we're trying to show in this slide, if only the key was there, was that with our initial 100 beta customers that we recruited at the back end of 2016, we asked them how many journeys they made by each transport mode before and after they had Whim available to them. What this slide would show, if I'd have managed to copy it and paste it over correctly from another presentation, was that the number of public transport trips went up from 48% of all journeys to 74% of all journeys. And the car use actually went down from 40% of journeys to 20% of journeys. The orange is taxi, so taxi did go up a little bit because if people are going to leave their private cars at home less and use public transport for more of their journeys, actually a number of journeys can't be made, even in Helsinki, very easily with public transport. You might need to come home from an evening out by taxi rather than PT. And this slide here talks about the average amount of expenditure that customers in that initial beta group were spending on non-car public transport. So they're on average spending €31 a month on non-car public transport before they had Whim, but they're spending €125 a month on average with Whim when they bought that service. And on the right-hand side, the number of taxi journeys that those customers undertook did increase from 1 journey a month to 4.5 journeys per month. So it's not a massive increase in taxi rides, but there was an increase. But the big winner here is public transport. These are translated from the Finnish, not very well in some occasions, but people liked Whim basically. Are we circulating the slides? People can read them later. Yeah. Okay, so what's been launched now commercially in Finland? So I think it was James that mentioned that customers aren't going to jump in straight away and spend a lot of money on an ultimate unlimited Whim package. We're going to have to go through a process with customers, getting them to initially download Whim and use it on a pay-as-you-go basis, perhaps then selling them to what we call Whim Urban in Helsinki, a €49 a month package that gives people unlimited access to public transport, but also gives them guaranteed car hire at €49 a day, and also guaranteed taxi rides of €10 for up to 5 kilometres as the crow flies. And then we can move them on to that Whim Unlimited package that in Helsinki is retailing at €499 a month. So that was launched now in December, so that's about 9 or 10 months ago. Let's have a look at some results. Well, fantastically, people seem to really buy into the concept of Whim, and we had 20,000 downloads in the first 3 weeks of our launch in December last year. We're now up to 60,000 customers have downloaded the application. The vast majority of people who've downloaded the application have added their credit card details into the app and registered with our pay-as-you-go service. We've had, on average, over 10,000 customers a month are using Whim pay-as-you-go. We've also sold a lot of subscription packages. Unsurprisingly, the Whim Urban package at €49 a month that gives unlimited public transport and car hire and taxi as you need it, at those fixed rates, is the most popular package. Just looked at the latest stats and we're over 6,000 now. But the unlimited package has actually sold, and we did actually sell the first package on the first day that we launched. The interesting thing there was that in the office, all of the guys thought it'd be a millennial, a 25 to 34-year-old that'd be our first unlimited customer. We think that is absolutely the target group that we should go for, people that access everything through their digital device. The first customer was actually a guy in his early 60s who'd taken early retirement. He didn't want to have a car. He'd already worked out it wasn't really great for him, but he liked to go and play golf a couple of times a month, and he needed a car for that. So he actually turned up at the office, he rang the doorbell to check that we weren't scammers, he'd never heard of us before. He saw that we were real people, signed up there and then on the dotted line, so that's fantastic. Yes, we're well behind the 6,000, we are in double figures, but we do think that will come within time. So you're probably really interested to know about coming into the UK. So these are the partners that we've got on board within the West Midlands project. When I was at Transport for West Midlands, I helped Whim come into the UK. And perhaps the key thing here was the role of the public sector. We had a great chief executive at Centro, as it was at the time, who said to me, Chris, we're going to have a new department around innovation and smarter travel. You're going to lead it. Bad news, though, we've got no money. So you're going to have to do 10 innovative projects, and you've got to be the first bit of innovation you've got to do is find some money and find someone to spend on bringing exciting things to the West Midlands. As we can't swear because we're streaming live, I won't say what I said, but you can probably imagine. Oh goodness, that's a challenge. But actually, I've got to thank James actually in the room for being a listening ear and actually helped Transport for West Midlands is now Centro get in touch with Mars Global, because Mars Global at the time were going through a requirement to better demonstrate their initial investors that actually there was a market for mobility as a service, a market for Whim outside of Finland. So, the West Midlands was a region that had embraced innovation and realised it needs to be an enabler rather than a procurer, because if you've got no money, you can't procure anything. So enablement was the way of the future. So we were an organisation, or I was an organisation that needed to enable a third party, and Whim was an organisation with funding that wanted to be able to demonstrate that Whim could be successful in another city. So that was really crucial. But of course, the next crucial thing then, it's not just about the local authority and Whim, because the local authority, all of us are local authorities in the UK outside of London, we don't actually operate any transport services. So it was all around building a coalition of the willing, to use George Bushism. But no, we weren't going to bomb anybody. We wanted to be able to provide mobility as a service solutions to our customers, potential customers in the West Midlands. So these are the organisations that we're pleased that are on board. So National Express, who operate most bus services in the West Midlands, the Metro, public transport is the bedrock of any Mars operation, so we need to get those guys on board. Get a black taxi operator, or a black taxi aggregator even, in the West Midlands. Sixt Enterprise Avis, the car hire companies. Sixt and Enterprise Alive now, Avis coming soon. Next Bike, the bike share people, and this is where Transport for West Midlands were great when they put together their tender for operating a bike share service in Birmingham, the West Midlands. A requirement of that tender was that the successful body needed to integrate with all mobility as a service operators. It's just that Whim are the only one there at the moment. And also, crucially for them, their Swift smart card system, so that any customer who either had a mobility as a service application or one of their smart cards could access the service. And the bikes will be coming very soon as they've overcome planning issues that they seem to have getting the docks in. But anyway, I'm glad I've not got that problem. And then trains also. On-Track Retail are a provider of basically a system that will drive train ticketing apps. So we're working with those, and very soon customers will be able to buy a train ticket within the Whim application in the West Midlands. And we did an MVP launch, a minimum viable products launch in April of this year. We launched Pay As You Go. We've got an everyday subscription, which is all 3 minutes left. Okay, we better speed up. All public transport modes, and you can get taxi and car hire as you need it, £99 a month on Whim Unlimited. Unsurprisingly, we've not sold any Unlimited as yet, but actually we haven't really promoted the product at all, mainly because when you do a full beta minimum viable product launch, you find out all of the challenges that you never picked up during your limited testing, where it was me and a couple of others travelling around. So we do need to improve the product. We need to build that product beyond an MVP. We've got challenges with taxi. Get are great if you're travelling for them within Birmingham city centre. But in London, taxis drive around. In Birmingham, they sit on a taxi rank, and it's actually quite difficult to get them to leave the rank. It's not great if you want to get a taxi from the suburbs into the city. So we need to resolve that, and we've got another partner coming on board. Our customers really want access to the National Rail Network. It's hard to get an accredited app. We're going through that process, but it's taking us a lot longer than we would have ideally wanted to. For a whole host of reasons, but that will be there soon. We then will be really starting our marketing very much at a micro-targeting level, aiming at those 25 to 34-year-olds, and not spending a lot of money on traditional above-the-line marketing, but becoming the most popular app on your smartphone people my age have never heard of. And we do want to build the product that we have, co-creating with our community. We've got 50 customers that we're calling the Friends of Whim, that we're helping use the products. They're giving us a lot of feedback. So we need to learn the lessons from those people and improve the product to sell it. And also learn from our partners what it is that they really want from this product. We do want to expand. The key thing is, from Whim's perspective, to grow across the UK and across the world. And as Beata pointed out, once a customer has got access, has Whim and accesses Nextbike, they'll be able to access Nextbike, initially just in the UK, but then once we flick the switch, Germany and all of those other countries too. Car hire will be worldwide, and if you've got a subscription in Birmingham now, you can actually travel in Helsinki, and from next week when we launch in Antwerp too. We've got a couple of extra cities that we're looking to go live with, at least. Better not say their names, but some of them might be in the room. And we do want to continue to build this national partner ecosystem. Integration, legal and commercials are actually really difficult to get people signed up and on board. The minimum number of those we need to do, the better, which means working with national partners where we can. And the final slide is just a nice little map to show that we want to be global by at some stage in the very near future. There's a little dot somewhere there off Madagascar, I think it is. I'm not quite sure where it is, Réunion or one of those lovely islands. I've got my name down to do the beta testing there, and I reckon it's going to take at least 6 months. Anyway, that's me. Thank you very much. We'll do the questions on the round table.
Thank you very much indeed, Chris. That's absolutely brilliant. And obviously, we can use his holiday destinations of Birmingham, Antwerp and Helsinki as well, and perhaps some nice islands. But I think what I got out of it made me realise as well, I'm the same as Chris. I have a large car because I've got dogs and I tow a caravan once or twice a year. And I think if we all actually truly look at our cost of a car, I don't think any of us know actually how much it costs us to have a car, how much it actually costs us per journey. And therefore it's very difficult when you're then translating that into the cost of public transport and the cost of Whim. People can't make up their design and see what costs are. And actually, our cars are really expensive to run. And if you're a 2-car family or 3-car family, then obviously that's aggregated as well. So I think we need some method of getting the public and teaching the public actually the cost of actually getting their car compared to public services and mass type services. So thank you very much indeed, Chris.